This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently, I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening, folks? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Did I say that right? I got lost because I said folks. I don't usually say folks. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. That's usually what I say, right? But I said folks in there and it threw me off. Because I had to address all of you folks. Because there's tons of folks out there. I love to say folks. Because it's all about food, folks, and fun. Isn't that, who was that? Fridays? Who was that? Applebee's? It was one of those chain restaurants. Food, folks, and fun. I don't know. That's it. Google it. You can look it up. Episode 49, folks. That's right. I ordered Lily bunched up to Google things. That's who I am. I'm that guy. Do me a favor. Get your fingers busy. Lily has awesome hands, by the way, in case you guys ever see her and you want to ask her. She has great hands. All right. And then I don't know why you did. She went two-fisted hand job on me. Oh, side saddle lefty? All right. She just put up both hands and yeah, all right. So I didn't mean it like that. I meant that she had like nice, elegant, kind of long fingers. Seriously, though, are your hands as big as my hands?
Well, my fingers are as long as yours because if we do
right,
this,
but I got more palm.
you got more palm.
Yeah, okay. So you could maybe palm a basketball, maybe. I don't know.
I have an octave and two.
An octave and two? No one knows what that means. An octave's a voice thing. That's not even your hand.
It's 8 keys.
8 keys on a piano. Oh, so you can stretch your hand can go your hand span. I think mine is 9 inches from pinky to thumb, pinky to across. I don't know. Hi folks, we're doing a show. Lily and I got lost in our own hands there for a second. Episode 49, episode 7 times 7, episode prime number, folks. That's right. And I think that's true. I don't know. Is that true? Is 49 a prime number? I think it is. It's not? Isn't prime number a number that can only be divided by one other number in itself? I think that's 49. Google it. All right. I've got, you know what? Lily Von Strupp is the research queen today. Apparently she's going to look up everything. We'll have all of these answers for you at the end of the show, folks. I think, but I think I'm right. I think 49 is a prime number. Trust me, I was a mathlete. Jesus Christ. I think I've covered this. Me and my smoking monkey insist that 49 is a prime number. Although I'm going to be proved wrong here, and that'd be very disappointing. All right. How are you live from Hollywood? It's not a prime number? What's a prime number? What's the definition of a prime number?
Prime number is... Wait, hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
49 is a composite number because it has more divisions than just 1 and 49.
Oh, because 7 can also... It's a prime number can only be divided by 1 and 49. All right, so yeah, because I thought it was divided by one other number, which means 7, because 7 goes into 49. It's... All right, folks, it's no longer episode prime number. It's now episode prime suspect. That's right. Helen Mirren is here, and we're going to talk about that show. Helen, how are you? She's not here. All right, so it's exciting to be here in Hollywood today, folks. We come to you live on episode 49. Not live to computer. I was going to say live to tape, but there's no tape involved. Yeah, actually there is. I put this on cassette. I laid this down on cassette. By the way, speaking of that, I get to my house the other day. I don't know why. Karen's got a Discman out, okay? Now, I had a Discman. I've told you many times, folks. I've bored you with this. When I was crazy fat Mike and I had to go exercise, and once I came off the surgery and I was walking around to try to dislodge whatever was in me and get rid of it, I would walk around with my Discman around my neck like an Olympic medal. It was like, yay! There's gold medal, there's bronze, and then there's outdated electronic technology, and that's what I won. I won the top prize in outdated electronic technology by wearing a Discman that was round around my neck. But that was your later model of Discman. My wife, I walked in the house the other day. I don't even know why she had it out, but she's got a Discman that looks like one of those old Kodak cameras that like would collapse into itself. I mean, it's a gigantic fucking doorstop. It's so huge. I'm like that. I held it up. I looked at it. I go, this was considered portable. Because we remember when that came out. I remember a Walkman. When a Walkman came out, and you could put a little cassette there and you carry it around on your belt. I never carried it around my belt because my fat gut was over my belt. I couldn't hook anything on my goddamn belt. I'd have to hook it in the back, and then it looks like, oh, what are you, mic'd up? What are you, on a reality show? No, that's not what it looked like, because you know what? That was the 80s. Nobody knew what a fucking reality show was at that point. Everybody was just busy staring at MTV and watching Modern English. All right. Sure. Lily and I will melt with you later. But she had this Discman out. It was like crazy big. How did I spiral into that? I was talking about CDs. No, we were talking about something.
This is being on tape.
Oh, this is on tape. Yeah, that's right. I have a cassette thing. Boy, that stepped on that joke. That stepped on that whole illusion. You folks, you probably bought it too. You probably were like, you know what? I bet Michael lays this down on cassette, and then he goes ahead and has somehow some way to interpret it and input it into the computer. I'll take a breath here, folks. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I'm getting a little ahead of myself. That prime number thing shook me. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought I had it. I was nailing it. I was good to go. Because normally I'll attribute like a jersey number or something like that. But I don't know of any famous guy with a 49. I can't even think. I can think of a minor 49er with his daughter Clementine, but that's not a football jersey. All right. On the way here, folks, here's something I'll tell you. On the way here, I was talking to my friend Paul Goebel. We were chatting via the cell phone, which, by the way, we did not have those when I was younger. We had a disc phone. It was a huge non-portable device you'd hook on your belt. I was talking to Paul Goebel. He calls me to remind me, A, that I'm doing his podcast this week. So look for that to air sometime in June. I don't know why he does that. He banks episodes. Like he told me, he's like, hey, I'm celebrating my 200th episode pretty soon. Really? Because I think you're only up to 105 online in iTunes. That's a lie, because I was on episode 176, wasn't I? Or you were? One of us was. Yeah. I don't know why I remember that. Because it's memorable. I sit in a room with Jim Bruce and Paul Goebel. I can tell you the dates and times of all of those occasions. All right. I was talking to him on the way over, and he's reminding me not only am I doing his podcast this weekend, so look for that again soon. And he also wanted to ask me a question, and this was the weirdest question. He meant this. Now, folks, this is a real question asked to me by someone that I know. And perhaps I'm building it up. You're making it sound like it's going to be crazy, but it's not that crazy. But it seemed crazy to me. He calls me, and this is the voicemail he leaves. He's like, hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you a question. Paul McCartney is coming to the Hollywood Bowl. Now, I hear that, and I think he's going to ask me if I want to go see Paul McCartney in the Hollywood Bowl. So I literally start saying no, even though I'm not even on the phone with him. He's just on my voicemail, but I already am mouthing the word no, like, because I can't wait to say it. I'm so excited to say no to his invite to Paul McCartney, I start saying it to the recorded Paul Goebel. So he's like, hey, Mike, Paul McCartney's going to be at the Hollywood Bowl. I'm warming up. I'm literally warming up a no. And like Fonzie, like when Fonzie was rrr. So he's he was never really rrr. He couldn't. He was, come on, it was Fonzie. He couldn't possibly be rrr. But I'm waiting to say no. So he goes, hey, Paul McCartney's going to be at the Hollywood Bowl. I have a question. You're a guy who goes to a lot of concerts, and you're a guy who's been to the Hollywood Bowl. I want to know what your experiences are there. So now I'm thinking it's just a general question of, should he go? Would he enjoy himself? What kind of seats are there? Because, again, folks, when you want to talk about concerts, you immediately come to me. And the only reason you come to me is because Jimmy Pardo and Pat Francis aren't answering their phones because they've been to double the fucking concerts I've been to, for Christ's sake. But I've been to a lot. So he's calling me to ask me, hey, how do you feel about the bowl? Now, here's my question. There's tickets available in the garden boxes. It's $725 in the garden boxes to see Paul McCartney. And you get a lunch. There's like a meal with it, and then you get to see the actual show. They're good seats, and you get fed. So I wanted to know how you feel about $725. Is that like a crazy price, or is it a good deal to see McCartney at the Hollywood Bowl? I don't know because I'm not a concert guy. Why don't you call me? Now, folks, I got to tell you something. $725 to go see Paul McCartney. I don't care if the ghost of John Lennon shows up and does a song, and then the two of them decide to use the phone and call the ghost of George Harrison to show up. Honestly, I don't see that show if Paul McCartney guarantees me Pam Anderson sucks my cock the entire time I'm in the audience. Just has me edging the entire concert. Literally blows me for 2.5 hours, keeps me edging the whole time until I finally she fucking brings me off with her mouth and hands right at the climax of Hey Jude. I still don't pay $725 to see that show. I'm stunned by the question. He has to be joking, right? I mean, you don't. I'm surprised my phone even recorded it. It was such a ludicrous question. How does my iPhone fake operator not just go, hold on a second, Mr. Goebel? You can't leave this message. It's ludicrous. It makes no sense. So I call him back, and I'm like, I go, yeah, I got your message. He's like, yeah, I'm just wondering. I'm not a concert guy. I go, well, if you're not a concert guy, why would you pay $725 to fucking see anybody? I mean, it makes no sense. I go, dude. And he goes, well, I'm just asking you because you've been there. And I go, look, I went there. I saw Journey and Def Leppard in those same seats, same deal, and I paid $160. Okay? Way too much. Ridiculous. But at the time I was working. I told him, I go, look, there's all these caveats. You got to decide if it's important to you. I said, you have to sit down and really think to yourself, because it's easy. When you say $725, you're like, well, that seems like a lot, but, it'll be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. But if you sit down and you actually parse out how much $725 is, if you think to yourself, you know what? Do I really want to pay a year's worth of electric bills to see Paul McCartney for 2 hours? And I'm normally not that guy, man. I don't make those decisions. I'm a rash guy. I mean, if I see something I like and I got the money for it, boom, I buy it. Because I have no kids to worry about. That's the thing. Paul's got kids. Eventually, he's going to have to put through college. And in, 12 years, when it comes time for one of them to fill out her application and get her textbooks, I would hate for Paul to be $725 short of her Harvard education because he had to go see Paul McCartney sing Coming Up like a flower. I don't even know he does Wing songs anymore, but who cares? But so then I'm talking to Goebel, and I'm like, dude, look, you really gotta like somebody to do that. He goes, well, let me ask you this. He goes, would you pay that to see Guns N' Roses? And of course, I'm immediately taken aback, and I'm like, I go, here's the thing. I go, if it was the original members of Guns N' Roses, and I had the money, yes, I would pay that for great seats if I was sitting super close. I go, but you're being weird here. I go, is Paul McCartney your favorite guy of all time? And he's like, well, no, it just sounded like something that me and his girlfriend, like they were thinking about possibly going. I go, dude, if you're just thinking of going, do you really want to pay $725 to go see this? He goes, yeah, but is it one of those legendary things where you got to see a guy before he dies and you got to do that? I go, dude, I don't know. I go, if that's important to you, then yes, by all means, go ahead and pay $725 to see Paul McCartney. To me, it makes no sense. I I would pay that to see the original Van Halen. I would pay to see the original Guns N' Roses. And I would probably pay it for really good seats for Pearl Jam or Springsteen. Springsteen more so but I would have to be guaranteed. All right, like let me put it this way. I would have to be guaranteed that Springsteen was going to play what I wanted. Like that. I know that sounds weird, but I don't want to go pay $725 to see Springsteen and then he does like the Woody Guthrie tribute concert. I don't want to fucking see that. I want to see Springsteen bust out fucking Jungleland and 10th Avenue and all this Candy's Room. I want to see that kind of stuff. I want to pick the set list. Honestly, if I'm going to pay $725. And certainly that's arrogant, but I will tell you this, folks. If any of you wants to send me $725, I'll talk about whatever the fuck you want me to talk about. Let's make that a thing. That's a thing. He said with McCartney you get a meal. I'll throw in a goddamn meal. Why not? You send me $725, I'll talk about whatever the fuck you want me to talk about, and I'll throw in a meal. You know what? When I record, I'll call and order a pizza. Or you tell me when you're going to listen, even. And I'll call and order a pizza in your town, and they'll deliver it. It's on me. I'll take care of it. As soon as your check clears. But I told him that. I go, dude, I don't want to deal with McCartney and a soggy sandwich for $725. I go, because literally, you're not. I said, you don't get to pick what you eat. Like, it's not this. You don't get to call your shot as Bobby Flay stands there and goes, extra primo good, Mr. Coleman, sir. No, that doesn't happen. You have to eat essentially a hamburger and a bag of chips and an apple. It's like you were in 8th grade and you went on a field trip to see Paul McCartney and it cost you $725. That's the meal you get. You remember that when you'd be like on a field trip, you'd be like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if we stopped at McDonald's because my mom gave me like $5? No, box lunch on the bus. God damn it! Nobody wants a dry ham and cheese and a green apple. And I mean, and when I say green apple, I mean a red apple that's got green on it. A green apple I can deal with. You want to give me a Golden Delicious or a Granny Smith? Sure, I'm on board with that. I enjoy an apple that's supposed to be green. But any red apple that's got green lurking? Fuck all that. I'm not a fan. I don't like a Macintosh. Step up your game, Macintosh. Granny Smith is whipping your ass. Apples. I'm sorry. Any apple that's supposed to be red and isn't red, I have no time for. I'm a busy man, folks. I can't wait for an apple to ripen. Stupid. You ever stare at fruit and try to get it to ripen? Oh, that takes a long time. I've done that. I've tried to use the power of my mind to ripen an apple. Does not work. Yes, I have a lot of time on my hands. But I couldn't believe even the question, even the inference that you would do that. It makes no sense to me that you would pay, because he's like, I'm not a music guy and I'm not a McCartney guy. Why would you even fucking consider it then? Why wouldn't you take that $725 and do something you do like to do? Take that $725 and do something you do like to do. You know, Paul's a Star Trek guy. Go find Shatner and give him $725 to fucking bore you with a chapter from his goddamn book. Do something. Something you like. I don't know what Paul likes to do. He likes TV. Go buy a TV. Seriously, $725. Go buy a better television or another television. Because at one point he had like 7 TVs because he's the king of TV. And I'm like, are you the king of knowing about TV or the king of owning TVs? I don't know how that works. Yeah, $725. That's just a bite in the ass for any show. Jesus. Again, you're asking, because that's what I said. You're asking about my top favorite bands. Yes, I'd pay it if I had it, and probably even if I didn't have it, I'd think about paying it. But not for just some fucking off concert. I don't pay $725 to see McCartney fight Yoko. Honestly, I don't. Well, you know what? I take that back. I probably do. I think we would all pay to see that. Pay-per-view or not pay-per-view. I would pay $725 to see McCartney take a bass upside fucking Yoko's goofy head. And I know we should all give peace a chance, folks. All right. Okay. I'm excited. I will tell you that too. With all this Guns N' Roses talk, I've been reading the Guns N' Roses biography, the unauthorized biography of Guns N' Roses, and I all right, folks. Again, I have an Axl Rose thing. I love Guns N' Roses, but this will sound awful. I identify with Axl Rose because he's fucking crazy. All right, and he has like rage issues, and but his rage issues always come up with the weird like. But you know what? So do mine. Like, I've almost gotten in fights in line at the movie theater, and, you know, guys cut in front of you at the bank, and you want to fucking punch him in the head. I mean, it's like Axl's stuff always happens. He's like at the airport. And the problem is, see, here's the thing. He's got photographers following him all over the fucking place. If photographers followed me, forget about it. I'd be in jail in like an hour. You know what I mean? Because inevitably something stupid would happen. But he does it. And reading in this book, all right, here's, again, I've always felt like a weird thing about him because he seems damaged. And I'm not damaged, but at the same time, I understand rage, and I understand where a lot of that comes from and being upset and pissed off about stuff. So my favorite clip of all time is Guns N' Roses on stage in St. Louis when they started the riot. When fucking Axl's on stage, and he's... it's so ludicrous to watch Axl get mad, because he's in a feather boa and track pants. And, like, you know, you can see his balls because he's wearing, like, the tightest spandex pants of all time. He's got that crazy hair, and he's got, like, kind of a weird baby face, but he also has those little teeth that look like fucking corn niblets. Like, he has 1,000 teeth in his mouth. He looks like some kind of like prehistoric monster, Axl Rose, especially when he skews his face up when he gets fucking angry. So he's on stage in St. Louis, and you've seen it. We've all seen it. I've probably talked about it. And it's so alive. The clip of it is so alive when he's on stage and he's singing, and he turns around and he looks, and there's a guy filming, and he can see the guy in the audience filming, and he goes, "Hey." And it's funny, his speaking voice is so different from his singing voice, because when he busts out the fucking air raid siren, you're just like, God damn it, this sounds amazing. And then he talks in that really deep voice. You're like, what the fuck's happening? Who's this guy now? And that lends to the aura. God damn it, I love Axl Rose. All right, so you know what? I pay $725 to see Paul McCartney if I get to go with Axl Rose. That changes everything. Because then he and I just go back to back and fight everybody in the goddamn crowd, because we'll fucking level the whole section of boomers, right? Any boomer who can afford the $725, he and I will just pair off and we'll eat our goddamn, you know, cold potato salad or whatever the fuck they give you for $725 and just start fighting. That'd be awesome. Axl, call me, goddammit. Yes, because you listen. All right, so that's why he's fighting at the airport half the time. He's trying to get his earbuds in and get his fucking 40-year-old boy set for his flight, and I want to take his picture. He's like, God damn it, I can't see episode 46 with all these flashbulbs going off in my face. But when he's on stage in St. Louis and he's got he's got a black feather boa and white fucking pants, his cock is just you can see everything, unfortunately, because that's the way he dressed. And he's singing and he kind of looks and he goes, "Hey, that motherfucker right there!" And he points to some dude in the audience and he goes, "No," and he tells them to get the camera. And nobody grabs it, and he goes, "You know what? Fuck it, I'll get it." And he just runs and dives into the goddamn crowd. How awesome is that? And yes, I understand that's the kind of thing that a 12-year-old boy would think is awesome, but that's who I am, folks. I'm sorry. To see a guy be able to just act out on any impulse and just fucking follow it, again, it's what a child does. I get that, and that's who I am, and that's who he is. But to see him do it, it's so fucking visceral because then he jumps into the crowd and he punches like 3 dudes and tries to grab a camera. But then, of course, he takes it too far because instead of just going back on stage, here's the thing: I'll go through stuff like that, and within a minute or two, I'll go, fuck. Like I turn back into Bruce Banner, okay? And I go, wow, that was a mistake. That was dumb. Why are my pants all ripped up? But he doesn't. He goes on stage and he grabs the microphone and he goes, "You know what? Fuck it. Good night." And he slams the microphone hard on the ground. And then he leaves and cancels the show. And then there's a riot and people destroy the band's gear. All right, so maybe it isn't the best move for him to do that kind of stuff. But I will tell you this: reading the book, I had a moment where I like kind of got weirded out with like goosebumps and like kind of a chill down my spine because they were talking about their early days and all these different things. And I will tell you this too: they lived in Lily's neighborhood because they gave the address where they lived. I won't give the address on here, but they mentioned they liked it because they were right by Sunset Tattoo and Guitar Center and El Compadre Mexican food.
Yeah.
And they said that was like first of all, when they first came out here, dude, I mean, I'm astonished. Like, why am I not famous? All right. When I read about these bands, like when Motley Crue's famous, I bought Motley Crue's albums. Motley Crue's out there. They're touring the world. They're doing all this. And then I'll sit there and I'll go, if these 4 junkies could get fucking famous, why am I not able to do it? What the fuck is wrong with my head that I can't seize the day? I can't carpe diem the shit out of this fucking thing and make something happen for myself when these fucking junkies who fucked women with telephones and wrote about it in a book gleefully, how could they not? How can I not do it? So I'm reading the Guns N' Roses book, and first of all, I will say this book is fucking horrible because it's written. Here's the thing: it's written by the guy who wrote Hammer of the Gods, the Zeppelin book, which, of course, reveals that they fucked the girl with the mud shark and all that other kind of stuff, which is fine. I mean, I don't know. Again, good for Zeppelin. That's great. That's how famous I want to be. I want to be so famous people pay $725 to have a club sandwich and watch me sing, and then afterwards I can bang some chick with a grouper. That's what I want to do, goddammit. Nothing wrong with that. That's the American dream, goddammit. So, I wind up sitting here reading the Guns N' Roses book, and it's written by the guy who wrote Hammer of the Gods. So I'm like, well, this will be a good look and a well-written book. No, it's a good look. I mean, it's got a lot of information. But I can tell you as a fan, a lot of, so far, I knew a lot of the stuff. Not really all of it, but a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff is really great to read. But the thing is, this guy writes it in such a precious way. Like he actually wrote this anecdote about how Axl and a friend hitchhiked to New York. And they hitchhiked to New York, and they've never been out of Indiana before, and then they wind up in, like, Spanish Harlem, and it's this sea of minorities and dark skin and black faces and Spanish and weird musics and different smells and rhythms. He's trying to describe, basically, being in New York for the first time, if you're an 18-year-old from Indiana, the shock that comes out of it. And he says that Axl's walking, and people are, like, looking at him. They're talking in different languages, and they're kind of confused. They don't know what's happening, and out of nowhere, a black guy comes up to them, like an older black man. And he comes up to them in their hick cowboy boots and their crazy, hair. And he comes up to Axl and his friend and he goes, "Do you know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. You're going to die." There's no way that really happened. Quit trying to make their song lyrics into things that happen in their lives. So that's in the very first chapter. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, I hope that just kicks it off and he's gotten all of that out of his system now. Nope. In the first 50 pages, he talks about it again. When they get to L.A., Axl gets to L.A. and he's at the bus station, and he's got all these black guys coming up to him and trying to sell him drugs, and then he sees a Chinese guy get stabbed and a boombox stolen. I don't know if Axl told him this, because, again, they're not from Axl's mouth. This guy is just formulating the story. I have no idea if he's making it up, then it started to cast aspersions on Zeppelin fucking a chick with a shark. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you telling me that possibly didn't happen? Because I will be severely disappointed to find that out. Maybe it was something different. Maybe they jammed a fucking squirrel up there. I have no idea what they did. Maybe he was close, but he was just off by a little detail. So he's got Axl showing up at the bus station, and in it he writes, Axl didn't know what to do. He was confused. And finally, one guy comes out of the crowd, again, a black guy. I don't know why the magical Negro thing works in the Guns N' Roses lore. I didn't know that Axl Rose was Bagger Vance. I had no fucking idea that was true. But apparently he's been, these visions of black guys have gone and Sherpa'd him one way or the other. So I don't know, maybe Axl's the new Elvis. All of his song lyrics have been stolen from black people and he's uncredited them. But it turns out that Axl, this guy, he said a black guy came out of the crowd and took pity on this crazy-looking white guy and gave him directions to where he wanted to go. And the guy he writes this, and I'm not even lying. He goes, "You could say that he was ... 1 in a million." Now, there's a song Guns N' Roses on GNR Lies called 1 in a Million about Axl arriving at the bus station, and I'm like, dude, don't do that, please. I started to wonder, you know who it sounds like wrote this book? Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers movies. Is that who wrote the Guns N' Roses biography? You could say he was 1 in a million. Ba, ba, ba! The worst trick of writing ever. That's close to the worst trick. The second worst trick, it might be the second worst. The worst trick of writing is when someone says something about a ludicrous situation, and then they write, "Insert your own joke here." You might as well just say, "I don't know any jokes." You fucking lazy cocksucker. It's funny because I've always hated that, and then this week I saw it on the Kissing Susie Colbert. There's a blog site called KSK, Kissing Susie Colbert. It's a funny blog site. Every week they take down Peter King from Sports Illustrated and they write this great column on him. And they wrote a column about the Raiders cruise this week. And the guy wrote, "My biggest pet peeve in writing is when someone says insert blank joke here or write your own joke here." And I was like, literally, I wanted to find this guy and hug him. I mean, he uses an internet pseudonym, like his name, I think it was Christmas Ape who wrote it. This guy Christmas Ape. And I'm like, I want to find him and fucking hug him because Jesus, I hate that more than anything. And you know what the worst part of it? I've done it. Like, I've actually done it, and then after the fact, read my writing a year later and gone, "Oh, no, dude, why would you fucking do that?" It's so funny. One time I used to do a Survivor pool with all of my friends. And all of my friends would do it. And then I would write a Survivor recap, and I would bore my friends to tears with it. It was like literally a 2,000-word Survivor recap of the episode and who got voted out and where and what the standings were in the pool. And one time, this is back in 99, 2000, I don't even know when Survivor premiered, but it was the season where this guy Tom, well, who cares? I fucking made a joke in it one time, and it turned out it was a joke from Jimmy Dore's act. And Pardo wrote me, and he goes, "You know that this is in Dore's act, right?" And to this day, I'm not kidding you, 8 years later, I'm embarrassed by that. It's weird. I can't let it go. I mean, all of the genuine original work that I've done in the interval, to me, almost cheapens in comparison to the fact that I accidentally used one of Jimmy Dore's jokes. It horrifies me that I did it. So I don't even know why I went there. But, because it's a confessional. I'm telling you folks something.
Insert joke here.
Huh? Insert joke here. Why not? But yeah, the joke was, I said there was a guy who was a fat, dumb hick. And I said he was the kind of guy who watches All in the Family for all the wrong reasons. And I genuinely, I don't even remember hearing Jimmy say it or whatever. But yeah, it's from Dore's act, and I'm like, I'm probably not now, but I mean back then it was. I felt so fucking sick when to get that letter to be called on it, like, and I had sent it out to friends. It just looked cheap, so horrible. So anyway, in the Guns N' Roses book, I don't know how that guy can write those lines and not go, ooh, god damn it, I can't believe I wrote that, because this book came out last year. I mean, dude, seriously, you're writing that? So then later on, he did Welcome to the Jungle. He did that. Then he has this. Axl's in high school, and apparently in Lafayette, Indiana, he's not a good kid, and the cops are trying to put him in jail all the time, and he's doing bad things. And he drives out to L.A. eventually with a girl. He first met this girl. The guy says he first met her at a birthday party at her house. When he knocked on the door, she opened it, and Axl was in a trench coat and sunglasses, like incognito. And she's like, "What's up with you? Are you a secret agent?" And Axl said, "They're out to get me, but I'm fucking innocent." No, he didn't. He did not say his song lyrics to a girl when he was 17 years old. It did not fucking happen. Don't write like that. It's so lazy and terrible. And let's put it this way. It's not like there's a dearth of material about Guns and fucking Roses to write about. Dude, I'm 100 pages in, okay? They just got signed to Geffen Records, but they talk about the fucking crazy squalor that they lived in. But here's the thing, it's like, this book is written for non-rock and roll or metal fans, people who don't really know, because he makes things sound much worse than they were, or much crazier than they were. I'm sure they were crazy enough. You don't have to amp up the fucking crazy. You got 5 junkies living in a storage space behind a restaurant. Okay? And I'm not even lying. 5 junkies. They're all shooting heroin, and they're fucking rehearsing in a storage area with no air conditioning and no windows. That's where they lived together as a band. They talked about how Izzy would nod off. He would do heroin, and he would climb behind the urine-soaked couch in between the roach-infested wall and just lay there for like 2 days. And he would poke his head up eventually just for something to drink and then put his head back down. Meanwhile, all the other people are tag teaming chicks, and they're talking about how Slash and Izzy are tag teaming a chick, and Izzy pulls out and he shoots his load on Slash's leg, and that's when Slash goes, all right, we got to get a different living arrangement. Yeah, I would think so. I would fucking think so. I got to be honest with you. At that point, when my friend fucking blows seed all over my leg, I got to go, yeah, I'm going to think about getting a studio apartment because... And this is why I'm not in a band and why I'm not successful. These guys were willing to do fucking anything. When you read this book, I mean, Slash is Saul Hudson. Slash was rich growing up. He lived in Laurel Canyon. His dad was in the record business. Was an album cover drawer. Oh, good Lord. An artist of album covers. He would do album art. But he still lived in squalor with these guys. Axl comes out from fucking Indiana and is just... But so that's what I'm saying is you don't need to make shit up. You don't need to make shit up. There's enough crazy shit happening. You don't need to make stuff up. And he talks about how, because again, he takes his gospel things that the band says. Like Axl, they talk about some chick who came by and then they took all her clothes off and they threw her outside and she ran down the street naked. That was the way they suffered chicks. And they were, dude, you don't need to make that kind of shit up. They do enough crazy stuff. But my favorite part is when someone will admit something crazy and then they look around like, you ever have something do that? Have somebody reveal way too much and then they look around like, right? And you're like, no, absolutely not. In this book, Steven Adler's telling an anecdote about how he had to walk to go rehearse with Slash, and he walked through West Hollywood, and he was a young blonde kid, and there would be all these gay men on the street, and they would solicit him for sex, and so he would get a blowjob from these guys on the street, like they'd go into an alley, and he'd let a guy blow him on the way to rehearsal, and then he'd go back to the rehearsal. And he's telling this anecdote, and at the end of it, he's like, well, come on, I was 13. I mean, we've all kind of done that, right? No! No, I can tell you that when I was 13, I was not getting blown by men in the alleys of Hollywood. That was not on my agenda. It didn't happen by accident. It certainly didn't happen on purpose. No guys were blowing me when I was 13 years old. I guess I just wasn't that lucky. But it's so great when people reveal too much and they expect you to kind of go along with it. It's like I was reading Johnson & Johnson used to do sex surveys, and they used to talk to men, and men would tell these stories about there was a guy. One of the stories was, oh yeah, we'd go out to the swimming hole and we'd swim naked in the daytime, and then we'd be laying out in the sun, and then we would have contests like to see who could jerk off the fastest and see who could shoot fastest or farthest. He would do that with his friends growing up, and he's like, right? No, that never happened when I was a kid. When I was a kid, if you high-fived the wrong way, you were a faggot. Seriously. If that ever got out, if you were just like, if you went to a slumber party when I was a kid, and you looked around and you're like, hey, what if we all just fucking jerked off? Wouldn't that be fun? No. No, the closest I ever came was one time it was me and Mike Scott slept over, I forget whose house it was, but whoever it was, you know what? It was a kid. Oh, it was Salvatore. Was it Salvatore? We slept over at this guy Salvatore's house, and we did it on purpose. We slept there because he had cable. We didn't really care for Salvatore, but we slept over because he had cable, and then he fell asleep. Was it Salvatore's house? I got to be sure about this. I knew Salvatore in 8th grade, and then in high school, yeah, you know what? I think it was Salvatore, and he went to sleep, and when he went to sleep, we turned on cable, and I watched some movie where Sandra Locke did lesbian stuff with somebody. It was like Spanktervision, like Cinemax, you know what I mean? It was one on TV or Showtime, whatever, but we watched it, and Mike Scott and I were watching it, and we're like, aha, this is hilarious, haha, and then I jerked off in Salvatore's bathroom. Because, again, I was 13 years old, I was not anywhere near an alley in Hollywood, and I needed to fucking get this release. I had to do it. So, but I can't imagine, it was bad enough to jerk off at my friend's house in his bathroom with the door locked. I can't even imagine watching the Sandra Locke queer off with somebody in a movie and turning to Mike Scott and going, hey, why don't we just jerk off right now? Are you shitting me? That would be ridiculous. Because you know what would be worse than asking? Having him say yeah. How horrible would that be? Hey, buddy, what do you say we jerk off? Yes. Oh, my God, no. Now you're playing gay chess. That's not good. And you just got checkmated. You got to whip it out and fucking start jerking off with your buddy who you play slap hockey with. Quite frankly, that's what it looks like there. You're playing slap hockey again, just with your cock out. I'm not down with slap cocky. I'm not down with slap cocky. I'll play slap hockey with Mike. I'm not playing slap cocky with Mike. Do you get it?
And now, the 40-year-old boy presents A Tale from the Road.
Naperville, Illinois, 1996. I take an outdoor gig at Rib Fest. Outdoor gigs are always death, but in this particular one, I got to follow Sleepy E, the only narcoleptic Elvis impersonator in the world. Really, the only one? Are there others?
A little less conversation, a little more action. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more bite, a little less bark, a little less fight, a little more.
He snored for like 15 minutes. He napped right there on stage. The fake Red and Sonny had to come out and throw his scarves to the crowd for him. And then I got to follow him. Horrible.
This has been A Tale from the Road from the 40-year-old boy. And now back to the 40-year-old boy. Already in progress.
We took a break there because it seemed like a spot to take a break. I mean, I stopped talking. I was like, it's got to be a break. But I didn't finish talking about what I was talking about, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But I will tell you this. When I took the break, I took my headset off, and Lily said, she goes, you never jerked off like with your friends? And I said, no, I didn't. She goes, oh, neither did I. And then laughed evilly. I said, you did? And she goes, well, no, there was never any jacuzzi hot tub parties. There was never any pillow fights that ended in mutual masturbation. And I was like, okay. I don't know why you need to get this off your chest. I'm not writing the autobiography of Lily. But that's fine. I mean, I'd always assumed that. That's cool. I mean, because for chicks, it's different. Like, chicks are, they're practicing making out, and they're humping pillows and doing all that kind of stuff. Dudes, nah, man, that's not happening. I'm sorry. Because, just again, even if you want it to happen, you can't suggest it. Because it's like, the second you suggest it, forget it. At least where I grew up, that's it. You're fucking nailed to the wall. I mean, the first guy at a slumber party to pull out a piece of bread and go, I've got an idea. Fuck that. That's not happening. I don't think so. I always hear about that piece of bread contest, and I'm just like, even if you lost, okay, you leave. I mean, nobody eats the bread, right? Nobody eats the goddamn bread. If you eat the bread, I got to think that the guy who brought the bread out and thought it up, he's going to be the guy who eats the bread anyway, because this was his idea. So obviously he's going to cheat and go slow, because the whole point is he just wants a load sandwich. That's all that guy wants. Seriously, why didn't he just say that? Why does he go, hey, why don't you guys all go in the bathroom? Instead of making it a contest and all that, just go inside and just go, hey, do me a favor, fellas. Soak up this bread. And just we'll cut to the middleman. I won't embarrass you. You won't embarrass me. I just need a load sandwich at this point. Honestly. Because even if you get into that contest, even if you fucking get into that contest and you lose, there's no way you eat the bread. You fucking walk out. You just go, fellas, sorry, this was fun seeing your cocks and all, but I'm taking off. I am not about to eat that bread because it's bad enough. This story's bad enough. If I eat the bread, this becomes something we never talk about again until we're lying on a couch in 15 years. Nobody eats the bread. All right. So I'm reading the Guns N' Roses book, and in it, here's the thing too. Again, I should have known that. All right, in the opening of a book, they have blurbs. They have all a ton of blurbs where it's like, an amazing story of a decadent rock band, whatever. One of his blurbs, I'm not lying. One of his blurbs was the story of Guns N' Roses as written by the author of Hammer of the Gods. That's in the blurb section. I got news for you. That's not a blurb. That's a goddamn fact. If that's all you got out of the article that they wrote reviewing your book, that was not a good review. If that's the case, yeah, he uses it. That's the worst part. You might as well call me, and I'll just say, Mike Schmidt says this book has 475 pages. Mike Schmidt. Seriously, I mean, it's not a blurb if it's a fact, right? This book is typeset and used on, and the words are printed on paper. Simon & Schuster. Yes. That's a fact from your publishing house. That is not a blurb telling you how good your book is. Nice try, though. Reading this. So the whole point of it was, like I said, I feel this thing with Axl, and it's funny. Lily and I have a mutual friend. She's a closer friend to him than I am. This guy Phil, who he's been in bands forever on the Strip. So he was here when it was all happening, and she just said to me, she goes, "You want to talk to somebody who's got some Axl stories? Talk to Phil." She said he's not a nice guy, and I'm like, trust me, I know he's not a nice guy. I'm reading.
He told me this truly. Axl speaks in lyrics.
So he does speak like that?
That's exactly.
Oh, fuck.
He just walks around quoting his lyrics.
Oh my God. So he does talk like that. All right. I'm sorry, folks. It looks like I owe this writer an apology. Apparently, Axl, his whole life, has spoken in the song lyrics he was eventually going to write.
So fucking awesome.
It would be. I have to admit. Again, if he walked into a room and he was like, "I'm a cold heartbreaker fit to burn and I'll rip your heart in two." I mean, come on. Those are lyrics worth saying in conversation. Look, I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I'm sorry. That's just... Good Lord. All right, my fault. I didn't realize that, folks. I owe that guy an apology. You know what? Next time you buy the book, there'll be a blurb. Mike Schmidt apologizes for all of his rantings on his podcast. Mike Schmidt. But the book's funny. It's got great information. But again, this is why I don't make it, because Axl's sleeping at the bus stop and he's sleeping behind dumpsters. And here's a weird thing: this guy capitalizes dumpster. I don't know why. Every time he writes the word dumpster, he capitalizes it like it's a brand name. Dude, a dumpster is just a container of garbage. It's not it's not Mr. Dumpster, right? You gonna Google that for me? All right, good. Maybe you have to capitalize dumpster. I know in the times I've been stealing material from Jimmy Dore and putting it in letters to my friends, I've never capitalized the word dumpster. You're looking? Now I'm curious about it, because literally and let's put it this way. Is it? So he had to capitalize it. I again owe this man an apology. I owe him several apologies. Perhaps this book is better than I gave it credit for. So yeah, but that's why I'm not famous, folks, because these junkies, they go through all this shit and then still people see their greatness. Why can't people see my greatness? I don't have any junkie. I don't even have the junkie baggage. I'm just kind of overly mean and kind of overbearing sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like, and lazy as all fuck. These guys, that's the thing, is they weren't lazy. You know, they were scrawling lyrics on pizza boxes. They were, banging chicks to try to hustle groceries. These guys did it. They knew what they were doing. But I will tell you this, reading, he was talking about Axl, and Axl mentioned, they were talking about like music they listened to, and Axl liked to listen to Fade to Black by Metallica because the suicide theme of the song made him hopeful that the next day would be better than the day he had just gone through. He would listen to that every night when he would go to sleep. He would listen to Fade to Black because it would make him hopeful, and it filled him with strength rather than seeing the bleak side of it. He saw the bleakness in the song and took strength from it. Now, I read that, and I froze because I felt that way about that song. That song, by the way, if you'll notice, is on the Essential 41. That song is in the iMix in Audio Karen. Because and it's funny, people were like, why the fuck is Metallica on there? That's why. Because that is a song that is just bleak as bleak can be. And it's funny, the guy then in the book destroys it because he goes, Metallica said later this was a song about someone stealing their gear, not about a suicide, but whatever. Like literally he had to ruin Axl's thing. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck what it's about. It sounds to me like it's about a guy killing himself and basically deciding that's it, I'm done. And I've always found that to be a strengthening song, because it was like, well, look, no matter how fucking bad it is, I'm not that guy. I mean, I was always able to derive hope from that song. And then as I'm not kidding you, I'm sitting there in my house reading, and I just as it started to unfold, like I started reading, he used to listen to Fade to Black, and I'm like, no. And by the time I finished it, I had fucking goosebumps and a chill. Like I was really like kind of, because I'm like, dude, maybe I am a fucking manic depressive idiot like this guy. So, but I'm not. I'm none of those things. I'm just a lazy cocksucker who can't get anything done. So yeah, the bottom line is I don't understand why I'm not famous if these junkies can do it. God damn it, I got to put my life together. All right. Talking about music, I'll throw this in there. A guy wanted to be my friend on Facebook, so he wanted to be my friend on Facebook. I said okay, and he sent me a little note with his friend request, and it was like he likes the show, and he said, hey, listening to the show, I hear a lot. You talk a lot about the music you like. I've got a band you should check out. And I'm like, okay. So I Google them. First I go to iTunes and I look for them and they're not there. They're not, and I'm like, oh, I hate that because then if I like them, I can't buy their music and who are they? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Are they some like local? What if he's in this band? You know what I mean? It's like you go that route where you're like, wait a minute. Did he just trick me into looking up his band? This guy's like a flute player and I'm like, oh, damn it. So instead I Googled them and, all of a sudden at the bottom of the page, when I Google their name, there's a video for them on YouTube. So I see what the name of the song is called, and I read the description, and I'm like, all right. Well, I shrink it, and I figure I'll watch it later. So I write the guy back, and I'm like, hey, thanks for the recommendation. We're friends now, and I said I'll give them a listen later. That sounds interesting. So I finished writing some emails, doing whatever I'm doing online, and I pull up, I look down because I'll shrink windows to read later once I'm done doing work, theoretically. So I look down and I pull up their thing and I go, well, you know what? I'll play it. So I hit play and it starts and I'm like, all right, what's happening here? So it keeps playing. And it's a band called Rock Sugar. Okay. And I have to tell you, I am predisposed to like anything named Rock Sugar. A band, a stripper, a restaurant, a dessert, a book, a song. I don't fucking care. Rock Sugar. That's two words. Come on. That's a great name, right? So I started playing this, and his song called Don't Stop the Sandman. And what it is this band has done a live band mashup of Enter Sandman by Metallica and Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. And look, we all know that I'm a bad 80s hair metal guy. I love Metallica. We all know I love Journey. It was the first fucking episode of this podcast ever. Was my wife accosting Steve Perry. I'll listen to Journey and yell because I'm like, so again, mainly because it brings me back to when I was a kid in that time period, but also it's just because it's so good. Like, I mean, Steve Perry's voice is so good. Yeah, cheesy to you, I don't fucking care. Separate Ways to me, it's just like, oh my God, it's so good. His voice. All right. I love cover tunes. I love mashups. I mean, it's just literally, it's like someone crawled inside my head and said, let's make a band for this guy specifically. The only thing it's missing, quite frankly, is Axl. If Axl was in this fucking band, that would make it all worthwhile. But it's this weird collision of metal and pop. Like, and that's the thing is, it's like they sat in a lab for 20 years trying to figure out what to do, and then they went, hey, wait a minute, I got it. Let's do this. And it's fucking brilliant. The song Don't Stop the Sandman, I listened to the whole thing, I'm staring at it, and the guy is even in Steve Perry's registry. He's like really close, like he kind of sings, his voice kind of sounds like it. But they're using the Enter Sandman music. Oh my God. It's like 4:30 in the morning, and I wanted to turn it way up, but I couldn't. But I'm staring. So now I'm like, all right, I got to find more shit by these guys. So there's two other videos on YouTube. Don't Stop the Sandman is them. It's an actual video they shot. But the other videos are fan videos where people took the songs and they put a bunch of images together with them because these guys don't have any other videos. So then I go to their website and it turns out they have a whole fucking album of this kind of music. And all right, and let's deal with this right away. They do make some mistakes. Here's one of the mistakes they make. All right. Here's one of the big mistakes they make. They try to pretend there's like a band mythology. Like, dude, there's funny and then there's like band funny. And then there's like athlete funny. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's people that are just funny. People that are fucking just hysterically funny. And then there are people who try to be funny and they get credit because they're good at something else. And everybody goes, oh, and he's funny. No, he's not funny. He just happens to be somebody who does something else that you like. And then you're giving him credit in all these other areas. Because the band on their site, they have a bio. And in their bio, it turns out that Rock Sugar was washed up on a desert island and only had to listen to was a 13-year-old girl's CD collection from the 80s. And so then that became this monstrous band, and there was some doctor named Shlomo. Literally, I just scanned it and went, you're fuck band funny. I hate band funny. So but the rest of their website, dude, I start listening to the songs. Oh, my God. I can't even explain to you how fucking good it is. For me, again, your mileage may vary. You might fucking hate it. That's fine. But I got to tell you, I'm listening to it. I almost woke Karen up. That's how good it was. I was like so excited about it. So I want to thank this guy. He was from England, the guy. And it's so funny. The guy who wrote me is from England. These guys aren't from England. I don't know how he heard of them or knew of them. It's so funny. On their site, they have tour dates. Their one tour date is May 1st in Elgin, Illinois. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, who they are, where they're going. If they came to Los Angeles, they would play the Viper Room every fucking Monday. Literally, these guys would be on. Because there's bands out here like Steel Panther and Boogie Nights is like a 70s band. There's all these bands who do this kind of thing out here, but not like they do it. They do mashups of these songs. And all right, here's another thing that they do wrong. When you're listening to the songs, there's like 13 songs on the album, okay? It's not on iTunes. You got to order it through, is it rocksugar.com or Rocksugar the Band? Rocksugar.band.com. I ordered it. I bought the album because I'm a sucker, because I'm listening to these snippets of it, and I'm like, this is fucking amazing. And I had to buy it because why not? I can't imagine I'm the only guy who bought it, even though, fuck, it's not like they're on the road supporting it. But I will tell you this, again, like I said, they sat in a lab and they made this up. They did because they don't wear costumes. They just look like rockers from the 80s, and they're kind of older. But the best part is it says Rock Sugar, and their slogan is because pop rocks. Dude, pop rocks, and then the mixture of the rock and the pop, and they use all these different songs. But here's the misfire. All of them are 80 songs. Like they do, they mix, is it Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi with Like a Prayer by Madonna? I think it's what it is. Whatever. You'll go listen to them because you'll hear snippets, and they're fucking amazing. The songs are great. But then later on, two of the songs, they use songs from the 70s. And it pissed me off because, you know what, if you're an 80s thing and you were stuck on a desert island, you had an 80s collection and all that, then you can't use 10cc, The Things We Do for Love, because that's from 1975. Isn't it terrible that I nitpick it and I think but I even went, like, see, literally 4:30 in the morning, I'm listening to the snippets and I'm fucking geeking out, and then it gets to that and it starts to play, and then I hear them, too many broken hearts are falling in the river, and I go, that's a misfire. Like, I actually said that out loud. That's how sad. I was judging them, even though I loved them almost unconditionally. I can't say unconditionally because there were conditions. As long as they stuck. Look, if you're going to write your stupid, goofy, band funny promo of a desert island in 80s and Dr. Shlomo and all this other bullshit, then you got to live up to it. You can't go ahead, because they even use Breaking the Law by Judas Priest, and I'm like, well, that's the 80s, right? That's from 1980, so that's right in there. It's still wheelhouse, still 1980, right at the cutoff. But then they mixed it up with 10cc, and I'm like, oh, you can't do that, fellas. And then they actually do another 70s song later. They do, and again, I shouldn't judge these guys because it's fucking amazing stuff. I mean, it's so good that we like just stopped because Lily's like, all right, well, I got to hear these guys. So I said, okay, and we just played like 3 of the tracks, and she's like, you got to go back and do your show because we'll do this like the rest of the night. I'm like, exactly. I said, I can't wait till the album comes in because I don't think I will ever play any other music again. I mean, it's so good. It's literally like someone crawled into my head and went, what is this guy like? All right, well, we'll put it on a fucking album for him. Oh my God. I couldn't think of anything better. They mix up Guns N' Roses. It's the music for Welcome to the Jungle and the vocal for Voices Carry by Till Tuesday. What? Are you kidding me? Yes, that's right. You know what? These might be the guys who tried to steal my tape collection from 7-Eleven. And that's exactly it. Ever since that night, they went ahead, while I was crashed out in the back room, they grabbed my cassettes, those 200 cassettes, and they popped it open, and they looked, and they were like, oh, well, this is what this guy likes. And then they spent the next 20 to 30 years putting together what I would like, knowing eventually I would buy it and plug it on this podcast. These guys are visionaries, folks. Visionaries with 2 misfires. Now, I shouldn't say that. Again, they're geniuses. Buy the album, rocksugarband.com. Is that what it is? But yeah, they mix Dream On with, what was there's another, with Breakfast in America by Supertramp. So it's like the opening of Dream On, and then it goes, Take a Look at My Girlfriend, and it's like, which is great. But again, folks, 70s. I mean, I don't mean to be a prick about it, but if you're going to write your fake band mythology, yes, what?
But it was in high rotation on MTV.
It's been in high rotation since it came out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's classic rock. But yes, but I'm saying read their fake band, thing though, and it's like the '80s, and they very much '80s. So again, I actually said that out loud sitting at the desk. That's a misfire. Like I'm judging them. Why am I judging them? Everything they do is fucking perfect. I loved it. I bought it. I bought it that night. I'm like, shit, I got to buy this. I don't want to pay $22 for this. I mean, I do because it's fucking awesome. Because it's and I guess on their thing it says that they do 64 different tracks in 13 songs. Man, go buy it. Just get it. Go get band. What is it? Rock Sugar Band.
Rock Sugar Band.
RockSugarBand.com, and make sure they know that I was there, and I was the guy who told you to go there, and then maybe we can get them another tour date besides Elgin. I might go home. Seriously, in May, like I can't even imagine seeing that live. It would be retarded. I would just die. I would die a happy man because I would know every word and every chord. Because usually, sometimes you go see a band and there's a song where you can take a break and sit down and go, whew, well at least they're playing that. No, I would be screaming like a fucking psychopath the entire time they were on stage. They do a song called Heaven and Heaven. It mixes Bryan Adams' Heaven with Warren's Heaven. And it's like that. All right, that would be the one where I sat down. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I don't care for those songs, but I just thought it was a brilliant idea to mix the two of them together. God damn it, these guys are great. Go to Rock Sugar Band and tell them that I was the guy who made you go. All right. You notice how I usurped the credit from the guy who referred me? I can't remember. I apologize. Whoever this gentleman is, he became my friend on Facebook from England. Thank you for sending me to Rock Sugar Band because I wrote him back and I'm like, hey, I'll have to take a look at them. And I never wrote him back to go, oh my God, thank you, because. You know why? Because I literally have not stopped listening to them since this happened. This was last Thursday or Friday, and I can't stop listening to fucking songs from them. So that's fine. It's either been that or I've been watching the Olympics. I've been watching the Olympics and listening to Rock Sugar Band. You watch the Olympics at all? Do you care? I watch hockey, but then if we sit in the house, this is why I like the Olympics and why I'm actually sad they're going to be ending, because I like stuff that you can just turn on and leave on for 4 hours. I don't care about liking it so much. That's why I used to love Mystery Science Theater. Look, I love Mystery Science Theater 3000 because it was fucking funny. And I loved the concept of the guys trapped in space, even though they weren't really trapped in space. I know they weren't. But I have that weird me against the world, us against the world type of thing. It's like, I was talking to my friends and I'm like, dude, we should go fishing. I don't want to go fishing ever. I just want to hang out with my friends. Did I talk about this on here? I talked to my friends back in Chicago, guys that I've known forever, the UN of Evil. I talked to some of them, and I'm like, dude, what if we got a cabin for like 4 days, and we did like the big chill, and we cooked, and we went fishing, we played poker, and watched football? Wouldn't that be awesome? And they're like, no, it wouldn't be awesome. We have families and children. We want to live our lives. You have nothing in your life. That's why you want to go fucking fishing with us. That's how much I want camaraderie and friendship, folks. I'm willing to go goddamn fishing. Fishing is horrible. Nobody likes fishing. I don't, at least. I remember doing it as a kid and just going, this is fucking tragic and terrible. But yet, now, because I don't have camaraderie in my life, I don't have my friends in my life, I'm willing to do that. I was like, we should go hunting. Hunting? I didn't want to shoot a gun at a paper target. No, I'm going to shoot a caribou in the head in the name of friendship? I don't think that's going to happen. What is wrong with me? God, I need people. I need friends. I need to surround myself with stuff. I'm not a good alone person, I guess. I don't know. So I reach out to my friend. Well, how did I spin off into that? Talking about my friends, about the UN of Evil and going fishing. Because I watch the Olympics. I like when I watch Mystery Science Theater, I liked the idea that it was a guy stranded in space, and he had his 2 robot friends, and they were smartasses, and then they would watch movies all day. I loved the idea of that. If I could live my life like that, that'd be the best. If me and 2 smartass robots got to watch movies and then tell TV's Frank about it, goddamn, I would love that. So it was funny, and I loved the concept, but I also loved the fact that it was 2 hours that I knew I didn't have to turn the channel. There was no greater gift than being on the road and being in a hotel that had Comedy Central, and then at 1 in the morning on Friday night, Mystery Science Theater would come on. I'd be like, this is fucking amazing. I can read the paper, I can write jokes, I can do whatever, while 2 hours of uninterrupted greatness is on my television. That's what I loved. I loved it. All the hassle was out of trying to find something good to watch, because you could just put the fucking remote down and go, Jesus, I love this. And that's how I feel about the Olympics, except for I love this part. I don't love the Olympics, but I like the fact that my wife and I can watch something and kind of bond over it or make fun of it for 2 hours and never turn the channel. Because I got too much stuff on TiVo and we're flipping channels. I'm a fucking maniac, folks, with the TV. But with the Olympics, I can fucking turn it on and just drop the remote and not care. Even though it's awful. I don't like it. And inevitably, that's the thing, is it'll be on, and then I'll catch myself looking up, and I'll see some chick skater, and I'll be like, fuck, she's hot. Oh, man, I wonder if her spankers will go thong on her. That'd be great when she does the spin. And then they're like, that was 13-year-old Latvian. Oh, no! I got my cock in my hand over a 13-year-old Latvian? That's not good. I'm surprised they don't fucking arrest me and take me to TV jail. Some sort of Olympics fucking charge. I don't know. That's the thing, is you got to be careful. When guys, I watch female figure skaters, and I'm like, you start thinking about banging these chicks because they're flexible, and you get them to do that spin, and you're like, all right, that'd be great. But then again, like, they're fucking 13-year-old from behind the Iron Curtain. Is there even an Iron Curtain anymore? I have no idea. I'll tell you this. I watched the Olympics, And I watched the ice dancing, folks. Look, all right, it's cliche and hack to make fun of ice dancing, so I'm not going to spend that much time doing it. All I will say is watching it, it is the most ridiculous thing ever invented. It is the craziest. I don't know who decided that pairs squaring off and dancing on ice in crazy costumes was a sport. My favorite part is the person judging it, or not even the person judging it, the person, like the color analyst, when she's like, "Oh yeah, they're fancy footwork," and then she's like trying to tell you what's good and what's bad. Nothing's good or bad about it. If they don't fall down, they should win. That's it. You win. Jesus Christ, just standing up and skating in circles and dancing around. And then there was a big controversy about the Russians had these Aborigine outfits on, and supposedly they wore blackface, I guess, or some sort of body paint. Who fucking knows? All I know is, you thought those costumes were ridiculous? Wait till 2 years from now when they're on fucking Disney on Ice and they got to wear Cookie Monster costumes and fucking skate around. That's going to be a lot more ridiculous than anything they wore in the goddamn Olympics. And Karen like is now obsessed with that Lyshchenko guy, or Lyshchenko. I don't know what the fuck his name is, but he's the guy, the American who won gold. And there's an American who won the gold male figure skating thing. I know you don't watch it. You're too busy doing your laundry and waiting to get fucked by a clown. But at my house, my wife is obsessed by she not obsessed, but she really liked the guy who won because she's like, he looks like John Hamm and also like Hugh Jackman, and he does. He kind of looks like all of these people. Like he's a good looking guy. And I love the fact when the guy wins, by the way, he wins the gold medal, and immediately they start putting out these stories of who he's dating to get a fan and wave away all of the smoke of he might be gay. I mean, like, he's an American hero. That guy couldn't possibly be gay. He didn't eat the bread. That guy didn't eat the bread. He's dating a bunch of hot chicks, right? He's wearing his costume. That guy couldn't have eaten the bread. So I love the fact that they immediately rush to masculinize, to make him a masculine man after he wins the gold medal for figure skating. Who cares? If he's gay, he's gay. It's like that Johnny Weir guy. Everybody's like, I think he might be gay. You think? Jesus Christ. The guy farts feathers. I think he might be gay. So, sure enough, Lyshchenko wins it. But the thing is, he beats the guy from Russia, the guy who looks like a mean Owen Wilson. You see that guy? Mean Owen Wilson from Russia winds up skating, and he does the quad, and apparently, Lyshchenko didn't do the quad. I don't know. I'm watching and listening. I'm cracking up at the fact that they're even analyzing it this seriously. But here's one of my favorite things. So Plushenko is the guy from Russia, and he doesn't win. He wins the silver. And he's very disappointed. The next day, there's an article, Elvis Stoico, I guess, is like Canada's greatest figure skater, which is quite a title, folks. Let's be honest with ourselves. That's like being Mexico's greatest French chef. So he is Canada's greatest figure skater. Because seriously, if you skate in Canada, play hockey, you fuck. What is wrong with you? Fuck your figure eights and your goddamn triple lutz and double loops. Go pick up a stick and hit somebody. That's no claim to fame, Canada's greatest figure skater. All right, but the next day he's writing for Yahoo, and I'm sorry, I had to see it. The headline was, "The Night They Killed Figure Skating." Wow. Seriously? And he was all angry that the guy from the U.S. didn't do a quad, and Plushenko did the quad, and they're taking the risk out of the sport. And I'm reading it, and I'm just like, dude, what do you mean they're taking the risk out of it? These guys have fucking razor blades on their feet. Sounds like there's a ton of risk in this. I think they should add risk. If anything, there should be more risk than the risk of that. They should have these guys karate kicking each other. They should have like actual. You know what I mean? You should have to get close. When a guy does a spin with a skate in the air, you should try to grab the skate. There you go. How's that for risk? Give me a fucking break. The night they killed figure skating. Awful. But here's what's even better about it. Mean Owen Wilson, he gets the silver. And then at the medal ceremony, he actually climbs onto the gold medal podium to walk to the silver. Like he did it on purpose to be a jagoff. Like I'm supposed to be up here, but I'll step over here. I love it. I'm all for Mean Owen Wilson being a jagoff to everybody. Because what else does he have in his life? Seriously, this guy skates around with giant socks and sequins on. Let him be a prick to people. So he just steps on the gold podium, then goes to the silver podium, and everybody's mad about that because you're not supposed to step on the gold podium if you didn't win gold. Fucking grow up. Seriously, everybody, do me a favor. Go back to Haiti. Go ahead and look go to your computer and Google Haiti when you ever get upset about figure skating. Do me a favor. But these people are outraged and out of their minds, and it's like, whatever the fuck. So my favorite part is now, so then yesterday I see a link because I go to my email and it has like a little address, and it says, figure skater's bizarre claim. I'm like, well, I don't know what that could possibly be. Just claiming to be the best figure. You know what I thought it was? I thought it was a link to Stoico's article, The Night They Killed Figure Skating. Because that seemed to be a bizarre claim from a figure skater as far as I'm concerned. But sure enough, I go to it, and what it is Plushenko has his, on his website, Mean Owen Wilson, on the front page, it's got a picture of him wearing his silver medal from 2002, and underneath it says 2002, silver. And then it says 2006, gold. And then it says 2010, Vancouver, platinum. That's right. Mean Owen Wilson has awarded himself a platinum medal for his performance at the 2010 Olympics. He's decided that he didn't really win the silver. He's won something more precious than gold. He's won a Plushenko Platinum. I think it's fucking awesome. I think these people are all pissed off. They say he's like slagging the games and he's giving the games a bad name and he's not a good sportsman. Bullshit. Mean Owen Wilson is a genius. He's invented a new medal and awarded it to himself. How do you not call that guy the man? That is the greatest trash talk in the history of trash talk. And it came from a goddamn figure skater. He actually arranged to have a photo of himself put up on his own website wearing a platinum medal he invented. Mean Owen Wilson has set the standard. He has set the bar. He is, quite frankly, he is the platinum standard for trash talk in all sports from now on. Mean Owen Wilson is the greatest athlete who's ever lived. He's bypassed the IOC and awarded himself a platinum medal. You are the fucking greatest, Mean Owen Wilson. A Plushenko Platinum. God damn it. You know, that's got to catch on. Seriously, that needs to catch on in the world of sports. If you play in the Stanley Cup and you lose, you have to say, you have to put yourself on your website, we're the Stanley Mug champions. And like have a completely different trophy made up. Woohoo! We won the Stanley Mug. No, you didn't, Jagoffs. Well, yes, we did. No, somebody else won the Stanley Cup. Yes, they did. We won the Stanley Mug. Thank you very much. If you lose the Super Bowl, you should like put on your website, congratulations, Awesome Bowl champions. You guys lost the Super Bowl. Yes, but we won the Awesome Bowl. Take that. God damn it, I love it. And now they've taken it down. Like it's down from his website, supposedly, and they're saying it was a mistake. Stick to your guns, fake Owen Wilson. God damn it. Russian Owen Wilson. Owen Yuri Wilson? I don't know. I got to think of it. Owen Wilsonoff. There you go. Stick to your guns, Owen Wilsonoff. God damn it. It's a Plushenko Platinum. Wear it with pride. He should have a bunch of them made, and then he should just show up at the medal ceremonies and hand them to people. You know what? Bingo. Plushenko Platinum for you. Dostavanya. Dostavanya? Dostavanya. There you go. Dostavanya. I don't know what they say when they drink. I don't drink. God damn it. I love the idea of the Plushenko Platinum. I've won that. That's what I won this year at the Podcasting Awards. Whenever I fall out of the top 100 in iTunes, I'll be like, oh, well, it looks like I got another Plushenko Platinum for me. I'm going to have a useless stack of them. I'll be sleeping on Plushenko Platinums. Me and Axl behind Tower Records under the canopy will be sleeping on the stack of Plushenko Platinums that we've brought home. I'm going to fill a room with Plushenko Platinums like Scrooge McDuck. I'm just going to swim around all fucking day in my Plushenko Platinums. That's how goddamn rich I am in Plushenko Platinum. In runner-up finishes. That's where I am. I'm that guy. I'll have like a treasure bath like Dom DeLuise in fucking History of the World Part 1. Treasure bath! Platinum bath! All right, watch this. So I watch the Olympics. Even though I don't care about it, I just like being able to put something on because I'm very frenetic, folks. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm all over the place in my head and out. And so to be able to just put something on and like lay the remote down is like, it's kind of comforting, I suppose. Even if I don't like what's on. It's weird. It's a weird thing. I'm a weird dude. But I'll tell you this, NBC, it's like, they're talking about they're losing all this money, but their ratings are great, but that's fine. But I can tell you that they keep hyping their new programming schedule during the Olympics. I can tell you they better enjoy these ratings while they last. Because that schedule looks fucking horrible. It's so funny. Have you seen the commercials for the marriage ref? that Jerry Seinfeld invented, and they show all the people like fake laughing on the set, and Kelly Ripa gets to make a canned wisecrack, and then they play a laugh track. Oh my God, how horrible does that look? I want to combine the Olympics and that ad. Like I keep praying that the biathletes will ski, stop, and shoot everybody in the cast of The Marriage Ref. That's what I combine the events. I'm hoping some stray bullet from a biathlete takes Alec Baldwin right the fuck out. Because I just think the overwhelming irony of having Alec Baldwin on a show where they're reffing bad marriages is unbelievable to me. Did nobody clear that? Did nobody think that? I'm waiting for him to tell the first couple that they're rude, thoughtless little pigs. Great. That's going to work out fantastic. This guy is 2 high balls away from punching Kim Basinger in the face at any moment of the day. And yet he's going to tell America how to run their marriage. Good for you. They got some show called Minute to Win It. Did you see that? First of all, look, there's a show I watch called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I enjoy the show, despite the overbearing obnoxiousness of the host, Guy Fieri. Seems like a nice man, but anytime they take a guy who runs a food show and they decide, you know what, that guy's got charisma, let's give him something else to do, it fucking goes off of a cliff. NBC should have learned. Fucking 10 years ago, they gave Emeril a show. Are you shitting me? They gave Emeril a sitcom? They brought in Robert Urich to tart it up? It was so bad. It was. I mean, Emeril was bad on his shows, but for some reason people loved him when they watched him. That's fine. Because he's yelling Bam, and he's got a band to hide the fact that he's making, biscuits. I never understood it. I used to do a thing on stage where I'd be like, I watched the Food Network. Can you tell me how culturally bankrupt we've become as a society when Mugu Gai Pan gets a standing ovation? What the fuck? The guy's a cook and he's cooking. Relax. It happens. It's his job. You don't need to go crazy out of your mind. And the fact that he had a house band, he's like, hey, I'm going to make some coleslaw. Take it, Johnny. Da-da-da-da-da. Fuck that. No, but I don't need to watch a guy fry apples while some band is playing fucking Whole Lotta Love. It doesn't mean anything to me. And I'm a guy who loves cooking shows. That's the thing. Again, it gets back to who I am as a guy. I like putting on a cooking show, and I put down the remote, and I can watch them make something in the silence of a kitchen that's like a church almost, because I'm fascinated by cooking. It's very scientific. I enjoy watching it. It's entertaining to me. I don't need it tarted up with a band and a fucking ringmaster. I don't need that. I just want to see him cook shit. Is that okay? But then NBC, again, they take Emeril, they give him a sitcom, and it was funny because it premiered in 2001, September 2001. And it was funny because it was supposed to debut on Thursday night the week of 9/11. And obviously they wound up canceling all the premieres that week because of what had happened. They had wall-to-wall news coverage. So I actually did a show Friday night, 9/14. Let's see, 11. Yeah, the 14th. And I went on stage and I said, "Well, this is really weird doing a show this close to what happened, but it's terrible, and hopefully everything will work out. But we can at least say that every cloud does have a silver lining." And NBC announced today that they're not going to show the Emeril premiere until October. So I think we can all give thanks for that. Horrible silence. People hated me. That's fine. But that's how much I thought of Emeril back then. And but I mean, it doesn't work when you pull these people out of their food fucking environment. Because again, guys obnoxious and overbearing on that show. And so here's the thing. He actually thought that he was like a guy now, like he's famous. So he actually hosted a tour this year. Did I talk about this on here? He went live and did a live cooking and bands tour, and he brought it, all over the country, and people, I guess, could pay $150 and sit on stage with him. And I got to be honest, I pay $725 to see Paul McCartney before I pay dime one to see Guy Fieri make a club sandwich while a fucking band plays in the background. Not interested. But they keep trying to take these guys that they think are interesting off the Food Network and give them other shows. So by the way, he took that show on the road, the concerts and cooking, and I read all these articles on it, and it was great to see. I told Karen, I go, I don't imagine anybody seeing that. Who the fuck is paying to see that? Guess what? Nobody is, because it was at the Universal Amphitheater, which seats, I think, like 5,000. That might be high. I don't know how many it is. But they announced it, and the ticket prices were like $100 and whatever the hell else. And then gradually over the weeks, I would get emails all the time. 20% off the Guy Fieri show. 50% off the Guy Fieri show. Till it finally got down to, it was like $10 for 3 tickets. Like it was this, because they couldn't fucking sell anything. Yes, because nobody needs to see a guy play a flute while a guy makes soup. Nobody wants to fucking see it. That's a lot of extended ooh sounds, but quite frankly, I'm not interested in paying for that privilege. I can do that myself. Flute, soup, flute. There you go. See, I did it. Give me $10. But they thought it would be a good day. I don't know why they keep giving these guys shows. But sure enough, now Guy Fieri is hosting a show on NBC. And you can look forward to his crazy, he's a 40-year-old man with bleach blonde hair spiked up. And he wears sandals, because he's very cool. And he'll give you a fist bump because, again, very cool. And on that show, the show's called Minute to Win It. And it's basically, you can get $1 million if you can complete these tasks in a minute. Like it's pull every Kleenex out of a box in a minute. And go ahead and pull up M&Ms with a straw and balance them on sticks in a minute. Whatever. From the commercial, you know everything you need to know by the name Minute to Win It. You should also just call this show Killing Time at the Office. Because I guarantee you it was writers and executives sitting in a fucking room, and they did that. They had the challenges, like all these challenges on the internet. I bet you can't drink a gallon of milk in 15 minutes without vomiting. All of those, someone decided to gather them all up and hire a guy from the Food Network and get some mood lighting and make it a goddamn television show. You know who's got to be fucking furious? Conan O'Brien. They fucking booted that guy to move Leno back to his spot so they could show Guy Fieri show people how to pull Kleenex out of a box in a minute. You're fucking kidding me. That's the best idea. Granted, I understand that you had no backup plan for Leno, so you really had to scramble to get a show made. But Jesus Christ, Minute to Win It? That's the best you could do? It's funny. I had a line in the Pardo Roast, if you go and watch it, where I said the Game Show Network is seconds away from greenlighting Guess Which Hand. I never realized NBC would beat them to it. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. You can be my friend at Facebook forever, and I'll draw a heart around our names at Facebook.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow me at Twitter, Twitter.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. If you'd like to be our friend Lily Von Stupp's friend on Facebook, go to Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp, and she is so important. She has 2 Twitter accounts. You can follow her at twitter.com/MNTees to find out all about the Monday Night Teas and the shows that are coming up. We'll get to that a little later. And you can also follow her at twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp and find out all of the important personal things that are going on in her life. And perhaps, like Coco from Ice-T's marriage, she will start twittering sexy pics. That's right. I think she will. So go ahead and subscribe to twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you'd like to write her a personal note to encourage her to Twitter sexy pics, go ahead and write her at lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Hey, what's happening? It's me, Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I wanted to tell you guys about the Year One download set that's available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. It's got all the original music. It's got all the original episodes of Year One, 52 solid episodes of comedy. And it's also got all the liner notes that I wrote for the original episodes themselves. So go ahead and order that. Pick it up. You'll enjoy Year One just as much as you're enjoying Year Two right now. What? That noise in the background? Oh, yeah, that's me beating the dead horse as I try to sell you Year One over and over again. So go ahead and pick up the Year One download set from MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 40-Year-Old Boy. 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast. Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. And in particular, I have to remind you about this show because I will be there.
Yay!
This March 1st. It is a benefit for AIDS prevention.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an AIDS prevention benefit, and all of the money and proceeds are a portion of, I don't know how they run it. All I know is they've made
all of it.
All of it? Okay.
Every dime.
Every dime at this week's Monday Night Teas, which is March 1st, Monday, March 1st. It's a tribute to Queen. The band Queen, so there will be a lot of performers with very cute pencil mustaches. So come out and check out the Queen Burlesque show. I'll be there talking about stuff. I don't know what, but I'll be talking in circles and come and enjoy that. But more importantly, there will be hot ladies there. Anybody in particular who's going to be there that we should know about?
Dizzy's performing. I am performing. Lavender LaRue is performing.
Dizzy Von Dam, Lavender LaRue, Lily Von Stupp, Anastasia Von Teaserhausen will be there.
Red Snapper.
The always popular and lovely Red Snapper will be there.
I feel bad I can't remember any others right now.
It's all right. It's a bunch of fantastic people. They can go to brownpapertickets.com to get tickets ahead of time. Is there a discount if you get them ahead of time, that kind of thing? Oh, that's right. It's a benefit.
Nope.
I'm dumb. There's no discounts.
$20. No discount.
$20, folks. Cough up some money to help fight AIDS. Why not? Putting down your needles and wearing your condoms are not enough. We need money to fight AIDS. And let me tell you this. Sticking a needle in your condom is helping nobody. So please, by all means, bypass that step of the fight. and just go right to donating the green. So come out to the Monday Night Teas at the Santa Monica and Vine, the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, March 1st. I'll be there. It's the Queen Burlesque Show. Come out and have a good time. I want to go ahead and remind you folks that I will be doing Paul Goebel's podcast that will air in the future. That's the worst plug of all time. I want to say a special thank you to Chris over at cerebralfluffblogspot.com. Is it cerebralfluff.blogspot.com? I think so. Cerebralfluff.blogspot.com. Chris was nice enough to review the show and do so in a nice way. We've dealt in the past with people who didn't enjoy it very much, so it's kind of refreshing and cool to have someone who actually enjoyed the show. So I do appreciate that, Chris. Thank you so much. So go check out cerebralfluff.blogspot.com. And I think it's, Google Cerebral Fluff. You'll find Chris. And go to his website, Would You Rather, because he has a lot of mental conundrums for you to pose. Like, would you rather suck 3 random elbows a day or make 1,000 pancakes a day? And then he explains why you would have to do those things. And then you can vote which one you like. Would you rather live your life on television 24 hours a day or receive random electric shocks? So please, by all means, go participate in all of them because they're fucking hysterical. So what's weird is I actually knew of that before he knew of, well, maybe not before he knew of me, but I don't know how, but I wound up there someday. Because again, I probably Googled, would you rather? I don't know. I'm not a smart man. So by all means, go to cerebralfluff.blogspot.com. And I will throw this your way. I don't know who is on Facebook or has been on my Facebook page. There's a guy named Bucky Sinister up in Oakland who came to me and said, hey, would you consider coming up and doing a show in San Francisco? And I said, well, maybe. He actually approached me last year about it. And I was like, well, maybe, but right now, no. So then I actually wrote him this week, and I'm like, you know what, dude? Yeah, I would like to do it because it's something I need to do and something I was planning on doing. And he had made an offer about a few things, and we went back and forth. And I said to him, I would love to kind of take a shot at that. I don't know what the interest level would be, but let's take a shot. We'll talk about it more in the future. So then he immediately put on Facebook, who wants to come see Mike Schmidt in San Francisco. Now, he might have jumped the gun a little bit because I was talking about maybe putting that up in April and then coming up and doing a show in June. But apparently, boom, he put it up immediately. So if you go to my Facebook page or you go to on Facebook, you will see there is now a fan page to see if people would want to bring me to San Francisco and if they would pay to see me, more importantly, because, everybody wants to bring me. I'm hilarious. You want to have me there. But to make it worth Bucky's time, we need to make sure that people would pay to come see me. I don't know if they would or they wouldn't. I posted this on my Facebook page too, because quite frankly, this could either work out really well or it could be, like I wrote, a really fucking terrible ego punch. I have no idea if I have fans anywhere. It turns out there are people in Oregon who want me to come there, people in Milwaukee who want me to come there, but I have no idea if I have enough people in one centrally located area to put on a decent show and make it worth Bucky's while. So if you do want me to come to San Francisco and you would pay to see me up there, then join the fan page so he knows that there are people who would and can come. And hopefully I can get up there this summer and we can all come and see me do whatever it is I plan on doing. Because I actually wrote Bucky and I go, I guess I should write a show. Now that has been thrust into the Facebook world. So I will go ahead and work on that, and you guys work on getting a crowd for it, and I promise I'll bring something cool up to San Francisco that you can see and listen to. So there you go. Go to that Facebook page and join and pretend that you'll pay to see me. Because as we learned last week when I did the Comedy Film Nerds show, that show had 35 people definitely attending with another 104 maybes. And I think I told you 4 people showed up, and it's because their friend was showing a film. So I think we've all learned Facebook lies. So, Bucky, I tell you right now, even if 100 people say they'll come to see me, let's bank on maybe 1/8 of that showing up, and then you and I can have tea. That's what it'll be. It'll be a night with me and Bucky having tea and talking about the failure that happened when nobody came to see me that night in San Francisco. That's a show I'll put together. That'd be fine. I'm sure you'd all pay to see that. I was talking about music. It's this made me laugh this week. I have to tell you this. We were in the car, and we were going to eat, and I asked Karen what she wanted to eat, and she started to talk to me in Black Sabbath music. Karen, you know the song War Pigs by Black Sabbath? Karen would say her sentences in the structure of that song. So I was like, where do you want to eat? She goes, I think I want to eat sushi because I am very hungry. Oh, Lord, yeah. I'm like, what the hell? Where did that come from? And she just started laughing. She goes, I thought it'd be funny. So she's talking to me in Black Sabbath. She's talking to me in War Pigs language. That's all. Like so the rest of the car ride, she keeps talking. All of her sentences are structured in that way. Should we park with the valet or park on the street today? Oh Lord, yeah. So I was laughing. I thought it was hysterical. But of course, I'm not to be outdone, folks. So I said, well, all right, she's going to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing like Ultravox. All of my sentences are going to be in the tune to Vienna by Ultravox. So she's like, I want to get sushi because I'm very hungry. Oh, Lord, yeah. And I'm like, sushi sounds great. It's something I'd like to eat right today. Park right away. It's sushi. So she's talking to me in War Pigs, and I'm talking in Vienna, and then we park, and then we continue to do it outside the sushi bar. So we sign up for the waiting list, and we're waiting to go eat. And then she's like, I'm going to smoke over here. And I go, honey, that's my song. I'm the Vienna. She goes, but I want to be Vienna now, because she was mad that I picked Vienna. Because she, War Pigs was hysterical. But then when I started doing Vienna, she's like, oh, why didn't I think of Vienna? That would have been hysterical. So then she tried to usurp it from me. I'm like, bullshit on that. You can't take Vienna from me. Vienna is mine. Oh, it's mine. God, how bad your ears are while I'm doing this, Mark. I can't even imagine. So do that. When you're out with your wife or your girlfriend, pick a song and just start talking in the frame of that song and see how long you can do it and see how many crazy weird looks you can get outside the sushi bar when your wife is trying to steal Vienna from you, and then you sing Vienna back to her, and then she's like, you're right, I should stick with War Pigs. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.